Hey everybody, Dr. Eric Plasker here, 100 Year Lifestyle TV, with one of my favorite generational families ever, from international chiropractic family, I should say, yes?
Yes.
So Mel, Burl, Jen, Jack,
Hi.
3 generations. We have a lot to talk about. And we wanted to share this with you. They're a special family because in your mid-80s now, been living a healthy lifestyle. We call it the 100-year lifestyle, getting chiropractic care for 50 years, being active, driving around the United States, Canada, your daughter, your grandson, living healthy lifestyle, the 100-year lifestyle, getting adjusted. How did you get started? I'm going to start with you, Mel.
We used to live in Winnipeg and Manitoba, Canada. And I had a small Olympic class sailing dinghy. It was double-hulled fiberglass, and I'd been out sailing on Lake Winnipeg one day with, I don't know whether Jenny was there or not, but certainly with some of our kids, probably she was, and tried to lift it out of the water afterwards onto my trailer because there was nobody else to help. Everybody else had gone home from the clubhouse, leaving me and the kids. So lifting it up, all of a sudden, oh!
Yeah.
And I could not move.
Wow.
My wife couldn't drive. She hadn't learned to drive at that point in time. So I struggled to the car. I can't remember how the boat got onto the trailer, but I struggled to the car and drove back the 60 miles from Lake Winnipeg to Winnipeg. Didn't know what to do after that, except I'd never heard of chiropractic. And somehow or other, somebody said, well, there's a fellow downtown who used to be the Winnipeg Blue Bombers football, I've forgotten what they used to call them in those days, trainer, something or other. And he does things like helping people with bad backs. And so I went to see Dr. Robey Baisley.
Chiropractor in Winnipeg.
Chiropractor in Winnipeg.
Wow, gotta love those
First
guys
time
and gals, by the way.
This was somewhere around
Those
about
fellas
somewhere in the
and gals.
somewhere in the late 1940s.
1940s.
Wow.
We weren't around.
No, not
That mean in
1940s.
Sorry,
60s.
60s.
1960s.
1960s.
Chiropractic cannot help my memory.
You probably wouldn't know the story if you hadn't been getting adjusted for very long. There's a lot of people in your shoes, my man, who have turned to other things like medications that wipe out your brain and things like that, and they can't remember. They wouldn't even be in a position to tell the story. So I'm excited that you have not just, and you got a great result back then, obviously.
So dear Dr. Robey helped me with, all of a sudden, I realized there was something different that he was doing from what, oh, yes, I'm sorry, I missed a piece. I had gone to see the doctor, and what did he give me? Painkillers.
Wow.
There you go.
Yes.
Yeah, and let me stop there for just a second, because in our time today, this is very important. We just tragically lost 2 icons in the entertainment world
Yes.
within 24 hours of each other. And there is prescription medication involved in both of their passings. We have seen icons in the last year, 3 years, 5 years, and 10 years that we have lost, where they have turned to pain pills, got addicted to pain pills, and when that happens, you really have to fight like hell for the rest of your life to try to get your mind back. And it's a problem. And certainly you can't live to 100 and healthy to 100 if you're having to struggle with addiction. It becomes much harder. So kudos to you for saying no and making a different choice.
Yes. And I've been going to different chiropractors ever since on a regular basis, not just when it starts to hurt.
I think that's an important piece, because when it comes to having healthy generations, and I mean, think about this, 50 years ago when that happened, did you have any idea that you would live into your mid-80s and that you would live this long? And you're young as far as I'm concerned, but also to be able to be active. And we have pictures of you in the office of you lifting cement bags and you, girl, you know, cleaning things up and doing things that are so active. How important has along with the 100-year lifestyle choices that you made in the way you live, how important has the chiropractic care piece of it been to helping you stay active over the years?
Ooh, I think I was pretty active. Bringing up 5 kids was a lot of running around.
Yeah.
However, when I first went to a chiropractor, it was in Montreal. I came off a horse,
Oh, that's right.
and Mel was already going to a chiropractor. Well, my back hurt, let's go to the chiropractor. So I didn't go to a doctor looking for painkillers.
Because you already knew.
Yeah,
Yeah.
She doesn't take, neither one of them.
We don't
wants to
take pills.
anything.
Yeah, and so now as a part of a lifestyle for you, when you look around at some of maybe your contemporaries who may have made different choices along the way, is there a difference in your level of activity, level of function, do you think?
oh, I'm sure.
1000%.
There's a lot of ladies in our church who are quite a bit younger than me, and they sure can't move around like I do. Yeah.
Yeah, it's, having a healthy spine and nervous system is essential to a healthy life.
Yeah.
And the care that you're receiving, the chiropractic care and the 100-year lifestyle choices that you make are going to keep you going, and you see it. You see it. So what do you
Absolutely.
notice in your parents?
It's
And
just-
we're getting to Jen and the young big guy, which, by the way, what time is it? No, other arm, other arm. Other arm. It's Christmas.
Oh.
He's got 2 watches on. He had a good Christmas. He can't figure out which one to
If
wear.
this watch is correct, it's around, okay, why am I so bad at this?
We'll get to that. Don't worry about it.
3:22.
3:22. Okay.
It's funny. It's not funny.
This is important.
It's joyous because my parents are seen by my friends as peers and contemporaries. And they're a full 20 to 30 years older than most of them. And yet, there we are, all of them. I mean, sometimes they go out yesterday to dinner parties without us. They don't include us. They just want to see our parents.
How does it make you feel because there is one of the challenges, Jen, that I believe that your generation, my generation has, and Jack's generation has, is that we see our aging parents and grandparents who are struggling and suffering. And it does become a burden on some level to us. What is it like for you to know, from a peace of mind perspective,
That you just
that
nailed
mom
it.
and dad are doing so well?
You just nailed it. A couple of my dearest friends have lost fathers and mothers in the past year or two. And it's just, all they think about is, well, and then other friends, their parents are having strokes or in hospital or having heart attacks. My parents, I don't even worry about my parents. I try not to take them for granted. But, they're getting up and they're doing their yoga 5 mornings a week, and they're going to their chiropractor once a week. And
Actually, that's not necessarily completely true, because I've seen you worry about them. She says, slow down, slow down.
You better slow down.
It's a different kind of worry.
busted.
Yeah, but
exactly.
but a different kind of worry.
It is.
It's not a worry in the typical context that most people.
No, we call her Lady Leadfoot, and we call him Lord Tagalong. Because
okay.
they kind of go a little too fast sometimes, which speaks to chiropractic and chiropractic care and your 100-year lifestyle. But I'm the most grateful, and I think I've told you this before, a couple of years ago, when Dad and Mom met you, Dad was in this place in his head that I'd never seen. My dad is a former jet pilot, and he can do anything. And he was hitting 80 and thinking, okay, well, I'm about done now. And he was saying things like that. My sisters and my brother and I were all quite concerned about it, because it's like, why is Daddy checking out?
I was only joking, but
But
I know.
Joking enough to scare them. though.
Joking enough
to
that
scare
we've
them.
never heard you say anything even remotely like that before. And then they came here for their visit, and I had, by that point in time, been going to you and just thought the world of what you were doing and what they now understood, what they'd seen for decades. And I said, Daddy, you need to read Doc P's book. Seriously, I did. And I handed it to him. I said, 100-year lifestyle. You are only going to turn 80, so you've got another good 20 years at least. So you need to get an adjustment here on your brain, because you got you're going to have to meet it out for the next little while. And really, it wasn't about change, was it not? I mean, really?
Yes, because when Beryl and I were about to leave and go across to, as we usually spend 3 or 4 months in Palm Springs, California, so we drive from here to there. You very graciously donated your
Longevity solution.
The discs that we could listen to in the car,
Yeah.
which is what we did all the
Yeah.
way across the country.
Nice.
Listening to your
That's cool.
explanations of why we should and how we can live to 100. Yes, excellent.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Oh, my pleasure.
It made sense to me.
It gave you, I think, a vision for the future, which is really important no
Yeah.
matter what your age is,
Yeah.
and
Yes.
to be able to have some vision for the future. And, Jen, what's interesting for you is that even though your parents were utilizing the care, you didn't understand how it could fit into your life, and you were
No.
kind of put off by
I
it
was.
for a while.
Bone crunchers.
Yeah,
It was
and
awful.
there's,
Yeah.
listen, there are so many antiquated belief systems out there
Yeah.
that it's time for all of us, I think, to just get into the 2017 mode
Yes.
and really hit a new perspective on and make some different choices. And
Yeah.
you did. Kudos
did.
to you. But you got into trouble. You came in because of a crisis.
That's right.
Because of a problem.
Yeah.
And tell me about your results, not just from the crisis, but utilizing chiropractic care, making that critical transition, as we say,
Mm-hmm.
from crisis care to lifestyle care. What has that meant for you?
Oh gosh. The crisis you mentioned is the car accident, where my back was broken in 5 places. They came and helped me out because I was plaza board for quite some time. My choices were surgery, which could probably debilitate me. If I was lucky, then maybe I might have okay mobility, and pain meds. And I didn't like the pain meds, so I gave them to Mom and said, meet them out just, a little bit at it. In this family, we don't like to take drugs. Unlike everywhere you go, every doctor's
Which for
throwing...
the drug families that are out there, I am telling you that you have a different choice to make.
Yeah, you do.
It is not, you may think that everybody in the world takes medications. Not everybody does. I mean, there are a lot of people out there that they look for holistic solutions. They put the pain, instead of having a medicine chest, they have a bathroom cabinet. They just look at the world differently.
And after they told me it'd take about a year and a half for my back to sort of get itself back as best that it could. But I couldn't stand for more than, 5 minutes maximum on a good day. I couldn't run and play soccer with my son. I couldn't bike. I couldn't hike. I couldn't do any of the things that you do with an active, at the time, 9-year-old. And it was debilitating. It was crippling to our dynamic. And Mom and Dad came in town, and I was really frustrated because I was feeling very unhealthy, and I was gaining weight, and I was just really not feeling like a normal 40-something-year-old woman should feel. And no hope for the future as anything other than, wow, if this is how you're in 40s, how the heck are you going to be by the time you're 80, And they said, this is where it's funny, they needed an adjustment while they were here, and they asked their friend and their doctor up in Canada for a referral.
Dr. Andrew and Wanda Lee, Halifax, Nova Scotia, great chiropractors.
And I think you actually trained Dr. Andrew.
Well, I don't know that I trained him, but we definitely spent some time
together. Yes, and it was really funny. And so you took us on, and within, I think probably the third crunch.
Adjustment.
The third adjustment, all of a sudden, everything started to get really warm in my back. And I was like, what the heck? Because I'd been cold and I'd been cramped for almost 2 years at that point. And then from that moment forward, I could stand longer, I could walk longer. I mean, it just went up from there. And as you know, we ramped up pretty quickly. My body just responded like crazy. I was coming a couple of times a week.
Not just your back, like you said, your whole body, everything.
Yeah, everything. And
that's the power of working with the nervous system. My favorite thing about being a chiropractor, for sure.
Yeah, I rarely get colds. I rarely get sick. And it's all, because you're aligning and straightening. And we went from, you healed the back that the surgeons couldn't really heal. And then it became, okay, well, now I want this on a daily basis, not a daily, but a weekly basis, a regular basis.
Yeah, and so you made, obviously, lifestyle care a priority.
Absolutely.
And then this little young whippersnapper here who's taller than everybody, by the way.
Not me yet.
Not you yet, but almost as tall as me, if not taller than me.
I'm taller than her.
What's it like for you with your sports, your soccer, your football, and all that, to be getting adjusted, getting checked, knowing that you're doing the things that your grandparents have done that have helped them stay active, that you could live your life and then do some of these things? How does it make you feel to know that you could grow healthy?
It makes me feel Let's think. Oh man, I'm trying to think. It makes me feel like I have something to lean back on, I guess. I'm not sure.
Okay, so
I
you have
guess
some
would word it.
security.
Yes.
Okay. Does it give you confidence in your
yeah.
body?
Yes, it makes me, it makes the worry of when the crunch happens, when you're playing nose guard at football sometimes, or just getting tackled and messing around or roughhousing with friends, that it isn't something serious like a broken back or strained muscles or that kind of stuff.
And then when you get your adjustment and you feel that change in your body, to be able to know that you can go back out there and not feel like you're going to do more damage because of something that happened. Would you agree with that?
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's not just with football. I mean, if you're a younger person and you're carrying an instrument in a band, or if you're doing community
book
service somewhere, and
His
book bags,
book bag.
absolutely.
Oh my gosh.
These are really important things, because I think what we don't realize, and that's why I love and appreciate how you have included your family, and we have generations here, which is a big part of this Generations project that we are doing here, is getting families, generations of families, to understand that you're probably going to live longer than you thought, whether you like it or not. So why not get there in style with health and vitality instead of rotting away as a human preservative and deteriorating?
Yeah.
And it's I cannot even tell you how much joy it gives me and a lot of my colleagues that are out there to see leaders like you, and you are leaders. People look to you. You say, how are they doing that? How are they getting around? How are they doing? To see you as a representation and an example of what's possible if you make 100-year lifestyle choices, keep your spine and nervous system healthy, chiropractic care, the sky is the limit. Closing thoughts and comments.
I just want to be able to continue to live the physical activity level of active physical activity, the level of activity that I have today until I get to the 100, because my object is to get to the 100.
There you go. Got a new goal, and get there in style. By the way, 2 articles on the websites, 100% for 100 years, kind of goes along with what we're talking about, and then what's your number? If it's not 100, what is it? Is it 60? Is it 73? Is it 80? And the answer is that it's not about the number at all. It's about being able to enjoy quality years, quality days,
Right.
every day along the way to 80, 90, 100 years and beyond. Closing thought.
I want to beat my grandmother, who lived to 99 and 11 months.
Wow. We're there in style. Good for you. Exciting. Jen?
I'm just grateful because you turned me from being the biggest non-believer into, I'd had a whole, X amount of decades of I should have paid more attention to what they were doing. But you turned my whole thinking on chiropractics around. So much so that I was so terrified. No, you can't touch my baby.
Yeah.
You can't touch my baby. You do infants. I
Yeah.
mean, it makes so much sense. It really does make so much sense. And I have a lot of my friends who sit there going, but Jack is healthy. Yeah, he's healthy. Got a beautiful straight spine that needs to be straight all the time and grow straight, and he's not
And the
sick.
nerves working right.
The nerves work. He's not sick like a lot of his friends at school are sick. It works on every aspect of our lives. So thank you.
Yeah, it's our pleasure. And when one thing you said that I think is really important is that I believe what is so vital about what we're doing here is you start to believe in yourself. So we change your belief. That changes is that you have the healing and health ability within you. And as long as there's no interference, we just remove that interference so the body can function and thrive the way that it was designed to do it.
That's true.
It's so
That's
important.
True. That's true.
Okay, you get the last word, dude.
Doesn't happen that often.
Huh? Okay.
So you could live to, your grandparents, great-grandparents live to be 99. You could live to be 100 and beyond. What do you think about that? Do you want to get there in style, or do you want to
What'd you say?
deteriorate?
I'm confused.
You want to get there healthy?
You want to get
Yes.
to 100
Yeah.
healthy?
Yes.
Yeah?
Okay.
Good.
I think.
Well,
I'm not sure. Yes.
I'm
Yes.
so proud of you. You're doing really good,
Thank you.
and you're making a difference just because of the way you take care of yourself. I know your mom is proud, your grandparents are proud, and we're certainly proud that we could share this time.
Yeah.
Thanks for watching, everybody. See you next time.